Well, hello everyone, it's Kari back again on the channel to share a really fun rainbow rose technique. I'm going to be using the Meraki Artisan Flora dies, the rose die, and I went ahead and cut this out a couple of times, and I want to show you how easy it is to get these colored up in this rainbow inking technique. I found that it was really easy for me to use this grip mat here. And I'm going to line them up vertically. So I'm using the guide. There is a guide to putting this rose together. I'm using the guide to tell me which order they go in, and I'm putting them in that order. And then I'm going to be able to color these all up at the same time. So this makes it pretty easy. So as I line this up, you'll see that it goes in order with the first largest one being at the top. And now I have chosen some distress inks that I want to use, and I'm going to start with the very lightest color. So I'm using this in the middle, and I found as I was coloring these up that I needed to switch to a smaller brush when I got to the smaller pieces. So I start out with my blending brush here, and then I move on to these smaller brushes. And I'm putting this yellow on a little bit further than I need to so that it will blend with the next color that I'm going to blend over the top, or at least halfway over the top. I turned my grip mat around just so that I could blend from the right side because I'm right-handed, so I find it easier to blend that way. So I turned that around, and I'm using some picked raspberry to blend over into the yellow, so that not only do we get pink, but we also get a little bit of orange in there too, because the two colors mix to make that orange. And so as I do this, you can see that again, I find switching to a smaller brush really worked out a little bit better for the smaller pieces. So that's what I do again one more time. And look how fast this is coming together. This is a pretty easy technique. And I made a few roses this way, and also some rose buds, so you'll see that. So as I finish up the pink, I can turn the grip mat around once again and blend again from the right side, bringing in some peacock feathers this time. And when I merge the peacock feathers in a little bit with that yellow, it'll make also a little bit of green. So I love this technique. I love just having to use the three colors, but getting a good variety of colors. Have you ever seen a rainbow rose in real life? I don't think I have, but I've seen lots of pictures, and that's what inspired me to work on this rose today and just make some beautiful florals. Now, I also thought that you could do this going from the top down if you wanted to create a little bit different look. You don't have nearly as much room that way to do the blending, but it would also create a really fun looking rose. So try a variety and see what you like. I've also made a peace and love rose and a cherry parfait rose, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll try to remember to link that here so you can go back and look at those. I just think this rose die is one of the most beautiful dies that I've worked with, and I love it so much. All right, so just finishing up that blending, I went back through with the yellow again just to get a really good blend between the colors. And now it's time that we can put this rose together. So I am just making sure to remove those triangles. And when you line these up, when you line up those triangles, you get a perfectly lined up flower. So you don't have to worry about exactly how do these go together. You just line that little triangle up, and that's all there is to it. So simple, and this was designed so beautifully. So once you get those larger pieces together, then you're going to work on the smaller top portion here. I am going to remove those extra pieces now so that we can glue that all on. And see how this lines up? It does look like there are quite a few pieces, but it lines up and it makes a really beautiful 3D looking rose. So I'll add that piece right there on top. And as I say, I just put these right in order so I knew right where they would go. Now this one does cover up the triangles. So once you put that one on, you don't even know that there were some triangles there. And then this last piece goes right here and lines up with that little curve in the front. And that looks like the rose coming over the top there. And this is a beautiful petal to finish it up. Now, as I was looking at that, I wish that I would have done a little bit lighter blue shading on this petal here, the last one. And so for my next one, I am going to bring the same colors in, but I'm not going to blend nearly as much blue. So you'll see that. I also brought in the Mosaic Maze, which is a hot foil plate. And here I hot foiled it with some silver so that those rainbow roses would really, really jump out at you. And then I did hot foil that high Meraki Moments hot foil plate with some rainbow foil. And then I thought, you know what, that just fights a little bit too much with those roses. So I foiled it in a turquoise color instead. And then I cut out an extra high to go behind as the shadow. I'm going to cut down this panel just a little bit as well so that we can have a black frame around this entire thing. So I'm just cutting off about 1/8 of an inch on each side, and that's going to be just enough to bring that black all around the border. It looks really great this way, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that on, and then that black shadow behind the high will also really complement this look here. So that just makes it pop out just a little bit. I'll go ahead and add that to the black cardstock. There we go. And if you wanted to save cardstock, you could have cut that high shadow out from the middle of that, what we backed this one with. I didn't think of it at the time, or I would have done that. But here we go. There you can see that black shadow, and that really makes that pop up off the background as well. So now we'll add a couple of roses, some leaves, and one of those rose buds, which I did in exactly the same manner that I showed you before. And for the leaves, I am going to just exaggerate the difference in these colors. I am ink blending a portion of the leaves with the peacock feathers, and then the other portion of the leaves with evergreen bough. So these are a multicolored leaf as well. And I just really liked the look of this. So there you can see the two different shades on the leaves. And I'll do the same thing with this smaller leaf here, just giving it some more punch to the color. Okay, to put this whole thing together, we're just going to use some liquid adhesive and add these one by one, just making sure they're going to nestle in right just like that. I should have moved that high over just a touch to make room for that rosebud, but it's okay, we make it work in the end. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the leaves here to the left. We'll add this rose. You could also pop this up with some foam tape if you want a little more dimension, but I thought this card had enough interest to it already that I didn't pop one of them up. So I'll add the next set of leaves here. That's where the little rosebud is going to fit in, just like that. And then we'll go ahead and add the rest of the roses. I'm just turning them just a little bit so they're not exactly at the same angle. And we'll add that one just like that. So there we go. This is a stunning card in real life. I hope you can kind of catch that grandeur with the foil in the background, the foil on the high, and those rainbow roses and those leaves. I just think it came together so pretty. I hope you enjoy it too. Now I'm just going to add it to a card base. And I'd love to hear if you've ever made some rainbow roses or if you've ever seen any in real life. Leave me a comment below if you have. I'd love to hear about it. So here's a closer look at the card today. I really had a great time. I will link the products in the description below if you're interested, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.